two. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The Zoom H4 Handy Recorder is a great way to capture ideas or for live recordings. It offers 2 built-in condenser microphones and will run off of 2 AA batteries. This makes it a great portable device for the traveling musician. Along the sides of the H4 are many switches, inputs, and jacks. We will discuss these in further detail later in this tutorial. Along with an on-off switch, the H4 offers a line-out jack for use on monitors or for playback into different recording devices. There is also a headphone jack with a volume control for listening to your recordings and a USB Type-C connection to set the device to be either an audio interface or for file transfers. On the right side, there is a jog dial along with low, medium, and high microphone and line-in settings. The front of the H4 includes file type or track number buttons, depending on the recording mode. There is a record button, a file access light and mode light, and a menu key under the display. Settings on the H4 are handled by the menu key and the jog dial to maneuver to different items once in the main menu. To exit a menu that you are currently in, simply click the menu key. The H4 has settings for recording in stereo or 4-track mode. In this tutorial, we are going to look at recording in stereo. After turning on the H4, we can see what mode the device is in by checking the mode light. The light will be on if it is in stereo mode. If the light is off, press the menu key to bring up the menu list. The jog dial can be used to select the mode setting. By pressing the jog dial in, it will bring you into the mode selection list. At this point, we can switch the device to record in stereo. The H4 offers 2 ways to set the recording format. Using the 4 buttons on the front left side of the device, you can use the preset formats, which are 96 kHz 24-bit WAV file, 48 kHz 16-bit WAV file, 44.1 kHz 16-bit WAV file, or 44.1 kHz 128-bit MP3 file. If you would like different settings than what is offered here, press the menu key and use the jog dial to select the recording format setting. Using the jog dial, you can change the file format from MP3 to WAV. MP3s have a fixed sample rate of 44.1 kHz, but you can change the sample bit rates to 192, 224, 256, 320, and VBR, or variable bit rate. WAV files can have a sample rate of 44.1, 48, and 96 kHz, and a sample bit rates of 16 or 24. The H4 allows you to select from either the built-in stereo microphones or external inputs, which are on the opposite end of the built-in microphones. The inputs are a combination jack that will handle 1/4 inch or XLR cables. Once you have decided on what type of microphones to use, we can set up the inputs for recording. By pressing down on the menu key, you can change the input settings for your device. The first setting will switch between line inputs and the built-in microphones. The second setting is the manual input level, which is defaulted to 100. The next setting is for inputs that need phantom power. There are 2 settings for this, 24 and 48 volts. Next is the monitoring. which will allow you to see levels at all times. Following that is auto gain. This can be used to set levels automatically. We will discuss this further shortly. Mic Model allows you to use the modeling settings for different types of microphones. Compression and Limiter will allow you to turn on either the compressor or the limiter. Low Cut will remove all the lower register sounds. And finally, the mono button, which will take in both channels and record them together to make a mono track. Once you have placed your microphones for recording, you will need to do a level check. The Rec button has two settings. When the button is flashing, it is in standby mode. This is used to set the recording levels. Click the button again, it will set the light to stay on and the recording process will begin. The H4 offers different ways to set the levels: auto gain, manual level setting, and low, medium, high switch on the left side. Auto gain is used to set the recording level automatically. Start by turning on the setting in the input menu. Exit the menu by pressing the menu key. Press the Rec button to put the device in standby mode. The display will have the title Rec Level Scanning, and in the corner will show the recording level. Play whatever you are intending on recording to set the levels. Manual levels can be set through the input menu. Select Level in the menu. This will take you to the input level display. You can then set your levels by pushing the jog dial in. You can then change the level by moving up and down on the dial. The level value will change depending on the direction that you go. Once the desired level is hit, press the jog dial in to set the level, and press the menu key to exit back to the input menu. The third and easiest way is to use the switches on the left side of the device. You can set the levels to low, medium, or high depending on what you are recording. There are settings for either line 1 and 2 or 1 for the built-in microphones. Now that we've gone through all the steps to set up our levels, we can now record. Press the Rec button again to start the recording. The counter at the top of the display will start to count up, and you are recording. Start playing your part. Once completed, press the Rec button again to stop the recording. At this point, you will need to either connect your device to monitors or a set of headphones. Plug in your listening device either in the line in or headphone jack on the right side of the device. If using the headphone jack, you can change the volume with the dial beside the jack. Using the menu key, you can start playback by pressing upward on the key. Pressing the key upward again will stop the playback. Pushing left and right on the menu key will either act as a reverse or fast forward. There are two ways to copy your recordings off of your H4: by removing the SD card or connecting the device to a computer via a USB cable. In either case, start by turning off your device. To remove the SD card, open the battery compartment. Between the battery location is the SD card. Simply push down to make the SD card pop out. Once popped out, you can put the SD card into the SD card reader in your computer. You will find all your stereo recordings in the stereo directory. The files will be listed as STE- and an incremental number. You can now copy your recordings to your computer. How this is done depends on your computer. If your computer doesn't have an SD card reader, you can copy the files using a USB Type-C cable. Plug the USB cable into the computer and the device. Once connected, the display will ask how to configure the device. In this case, we are going to select the second option and connect to PC. Using the jog dial, select the second option. At this point, you will get a drive configured on your computer and you can copy the files as you did if you popped in the SD card. Hey everybody, so if you liked that video, please like and subscribe. Tell me you liked it. It was a lot of work to do. So if you like that, I'm going to do more like that. This is the whole new narrated tutorial style that I'm going to try for a lot of these videos where I'm getting more in depth into things. Yeah, that's all I can say. Like and subscribe. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.